What have been the most rewarding and most challenging parts for you and Evelyn in parenting and with the campaign too?
So this is fresh in my mind, but Evelyn just said something to me, literally I think it was yesterday, where she said 80% of parents with special needs children split up.
No.
I know, it was
Is
so
that real?
dark.
Did you look that up?
Well, she said it was 50% for parents generally, I think, but it was like 80% for
I guess that makes sense.
parents with special needs kids. But still, that's a jarring stat, right? You hear that and you're just like, whoa. So there were very hard times when Christopher was small, where we're first-time parents, so you don't know what's normal.
Right.
But he was doing things that there was a part of me that was like, I'm not sure this is normal. Like, just
Right.
he would like dissolve into like shrieking about various things, had body control issues, and had very negative reactions to various things. I remember vividly when I love both my children dearly, but when my second child woke up and didn't just immediately start screaming, I was like, I thought that there was a chance that it wasn't totally normal for you just to wake up and start screaming.
So Christopher's on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
But Dame, when did you know, or did Damien help you? Did having your second child help you figure out more about Christopher?
We realized, we got Christopher diagnosed, I should say, or measured, evaluated, when he was about to turn 4. So for the first several years, there's just a lot of stress where when Christopher would wake up, he would, just scream. And so there's like a lot of screaming in the house. And if you did anything, it'd be like the dumbest stimuli. No offense, Christopher, love you. But it'd be like texture change, like temperature change, like things that if you're around, you'd be like, this should not be a cause for a meltdown. But it was. And so there was just like so much stress in the house. And if you can imagine like a first time set of parents, or first time mom in particular, because Evelyn, and I think this is true for moms, but they have like this special connection where it's like they kind of know what's going on with the kid.
Right.
And so what would happen with Evelyn is like Evelyn would and this could be bad on me, but I was just like, it'll be fine was like my general default posture. It's like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like,
right.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And so she, to her credit, was like, got him evaluated. And then it was actually a big relief when we realized he was on the spectrum, and it explained a lot.
Right.
And made me feel like, oh, okay, like this actually makes me feel better.
First time dad, yeah.
Yeah, the first time dad. And Damien was like born, when Christopher was about 3. And so, yeah, so that was some perspective too, because Damien was a more chill baby. Not having much, you only have like 1 or 2 reference points. And so I understand why that stat is what it is, that 80% of parents with special needs get split up. I mean, it's just a hard thing. It's one reason why I'm so passionate about trying to support families and parents, because I think that there's a lot of humanity that gets swept under the rug where kids in particular are concerned. So some of the stats in my book that I had to triple check, 40% of American kids today are born to a single mom, unmarried parent. It was about 15% when I was growing up, and now it's 40%. And there are a lot of reasons why the marriage rate has declined the way it has, and some of them are very positive, like just more choices and freedom for women, and but then there are some really negative reasons, like why the marriage rate's declined, like just lack of steady economic opportunities, and and some other things. If you're a young person watching this right now, how many young people do you know who are concerned about ever having kids because they don't feel secure about their own future or livelihood? I think I know lots of young people. I know lots of young people who have that concern or anxiety, and it's actually grounded in the perverse and inhuman and punishing nature of our economy now, where American fertility is at record lows, and you know what else? And what's at record highs? Financial security, people living paycheck to paycheck. If half of you can't afford an unexpected $400 bill, it's very hard to be like, let's have a kid. That's like not
the move.
That's not the move. So So that stat blew me away. Like the sort of things you have sneaking suspicions about, like when you dig into the numbers, you realize like, oh, like the numbers actually bear that out and confirm it in terrible ways. These were. I'm very passionate about trying to help people. If they want to have a family, should have a family. Like, we should support you. Like, parents should get time off. Like, everyone should have the chance to spend time with their kid, which would be like, hey, if you had a couple adults in the house and you're getting $1,000 a month, like that's $24,000 a year. Maybe one of you can actually spend time with that child. Like, maybe like they're actually, we should be providing free marriage counseling to any parents that want it, because the data is very clear that if you stay together and have kids, then like the outcomes are more positive.
Right.
But and so it would be actually a very smart investment on the part of society, just to say, if you want to, obviously, like if you don't belong together, don't want to be together, then by all means. But like if you want to try and figure it out, like I'm happily married, and like Evelyn and I, are doing great, but like remembering those stressful years with Christopher, I can very easily see how families with lower levels of support or makeup or whatever it is would break apart. And then what happens to those children? It's like the children then, obviously some turn out like A-okay and the rest of it, but then some look up and be like, where the heck did daddy go? And that's particularly true for young boys. The data show that little boys are more sensitive to parental time input than little girls. Mm-hmm. So, and when I talk about these 40% of kids are born to single moms, like something like 85-90% of single parents are single moms. It's like 85%.
That's crazy.
So you're talking about tens of millions of kids who are going to be raised by single moms, and the data show that if the child's a little girl, and single mom, then they have super mom, and they look up and they think, okay, like girls and women are awesome, and outcomes are fine, in part because girls tend to be better at school at younger ages. And the data show that if you have a little boy and a single mom, then unfortunately the boy struggles because there's not a great male role model around. They're more sensitive to parental time input or the lack thereof. And if you have a single mom, she's likely to be working. More behavioral problems, more academic problems, lower levels of high school and college completion, and the rest of it. And so you have a society that's essentially, not exactly investing in our kids in a way that would set them up for long-term success and thriving.
Right.
He said, I'm Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang. You've earned a freedom dividend. Freedom